Welcome back to the Language of Leadership. I'm your host, Chuck Marting. And today I want to talk about one of the most controversial yet enlightening books ever written on personal and leadership development. It's a book that's caught a lot of attention from a lot of different leaders, and there's a lot of different perspectives on this book. But I've read it several times. I'm going through it again, and I thought it would be a very good book to share with you for leadership and to give you a different perspective than a lot of different other leadership books out there. And the book that I'm talking about today is Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. This book was written in 1938, but unpublished until 2011 because of the fear that Napoleon Hill's family and relatives and everybody thought would come through controversy because of not only the title, but in what was said at the time. Later on, with it being published, it reveals a very powerful conversation that took place between Napoleon Hill and a character that he calls the devil, a force that represents fear, doubt, and obstacles that keep us from reaching our highest potential. Now, this isn't just another self-help book. It's a revolutionary exploration of leadership. It's also talking about mindset and the forces that shape our decisions. So today I want to break down the core lessons of this book and what they mean for us as a leader. So whether you're an entrepreneur, a CEO, a team manager, or someone simply striving to lead your own life more effectively, the insights we cover will challenge you, inspire you, and most importantly, they're going to empower you. So stay with me because by the end of this episode, I'll give you a leadership challenge that could change the way you think about success forever. So first, we need to set the stage. This is, like I said, a hidden gem of leadership literature. Before we unpack the leadership principles in Outwitting the Devil, let's take a moment to appreciate its backstory. First, Napoleon Hill is best known for his classic book, Think and Grow Rich, a book that has guided millions towards financial success. But what many people don't realize is that after writing Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill faced massive setbacks, including personal bankruptcy, professional failures, and even threats on his own life. It was during these dark times that he penned the book Outwitting the Devil. This book was so controversial, so unsettling to the establishment that it was locked away for over 70 years at the pleadings of Napoleon Hill's family, his friends, because they feared backlash and controversy that it would stir. It is only after his family approved the release of the book that it was finally published. The central idea of this book, that fear is the greatest enemy of success, and that it is deliberately instilled in us by external forces, whether it's through institutions, education, or even religious dogma. Napoleon Hill's controversy in this conversation that he has with the devil exposes the traps that keep people from achieving greatness. And these traps are just as relevant to leadership today as they were in 1938. There are core lessons that I'm going to talk about from Outwitting the Devil. And the first that we're going to talk about is the power of definiteness of purpose. It's the number one trait of successful leaders, according to Napoleon Hill, is a definiteness of purpose. The devil himself admits that his greatest weapon against humanity is drifting. And drifting is a state in which people lack clear goals. They allow fear and external influences to dictate their lives. So as a leader, you need to ask yourself, are you clear about where you're going? Do you set clear expectations of yourself and your team? Or are you just going through with the flow, allowing circumstances just to dictate your actions? Leaders who have a strong vision create momentum. They inspire confidence. They don't react to the world, they shape it. So think of the greatest leaders in our history: Winston Churchill, Martin Luther King, Steve Jobs. They were all unwavering in their purpose, no drifting. And that's what made them forces of change. There's also the fear as a leadership that can kill you. It's a killer. One of the most powerful revelations in this book is how fear is used to control people. The devil claims that the primary tools of manipulation are fear of poverty, fear of criticism, fear of ill health, fear of losing love, fear of old age, and fear of death. These fears keep people and leaders paralyzed. They prevent bold action. How often have you seen leaders fail because they were afraid to take and make a tough decision? How many promising individuals never step into a leadership role because they fear circumstances or even failure? If you want to lead effectively, you must develop courage. You must face these fears head on and refuse to let them dictate your actions. So here's a challenge. Identify one fear that is currently holding you back in your leadership journey. Acknowledge it, confront it, and then take one decisive action to push past it. The third thing that Napoleon Hill talks about in this book is the role of personal responsibility. The devil thrives on people who blame others for their failures. In contrast, the best leaders take radical responsibility for their actions. Too many people drift through life blaming the economy, their boss, upbringing, or bad luck. Napoleon Hill argues that true power comes from recognizing that you control your destiny. As a leader, this means owning your mistakes, admitting when you don't have the answers, and refusing to play the victim card. The moment you accept full responsibility, 100% accountability for your success or failure, you become unstoppable. Now, we're also talking about breaking free from what Napoleon Hill calls drifting. And this is the leadership blueprint when you read this. So to escape what Napoleon Hill calls drifting, to escape the drift and to become a leader who outwits the devil of fear and of doubt, Napoleon Hill gives some powerful roadmaps. The first is to define your purpose and clarity. First, you got to write it down. You have to internalize it, and you have to make every decision to align with it. The second thing is guarding your mind against negative influences. You have to be intentional about what you consume and who you surround yourself with. The third thing is taking bold action. Indecision is the tool of failure. Train yourself to act quickly and decisively. The fourth thing is master your fears. Confront those fears that control you, whether it's fear of failure, criticism, or even financial insecurity. The fifth thing is the commitment to continuous growth. True leaders never stop learning and adapting. If you implement just these 5 strategies from this book, you will not only outwit the devil of fear and doubt, but you will also become a leader that others trust, respect, and that they want to follow. Now, there's a call to action for this, and it's a leadership challenge that I have for you. So here's the challenge. First, I want you to take out a notebook or open your phone's notes app. I want you to write down at least one major fear that is holding you back in your leadership journey. Next, I want you to write down one action you will take this week to confront that fear. I want you to commit to this challenge. Fear thrives in insecurity. So share your fear and your action plan with someone, a mentor, a friend, or even with me. If you want to go deeper into these concepts that we've talked about here today, I would highly recommend reading Outwitting the Devil. It will shift your perspective and challenge everything you thought you knew about leadership and success. I will leave a link to the book, the audiobook, and the Kindle version in the show notes. But I want you to understand something. Leadership is about position. It's about mindset. The greatest leaders don't drift through life. They shape it. They don't fear dictate their choices. They master their fears, and they don't blame circumstances. They take full responsibility for their destiny. If today's episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who needs to hear this message. And if you take the leadership challenge, I would love to hear your results. So send me a message or comment on the podcast page. But until next time, stay intentional, stay fearless, and most importantly, lead with purpose. Take care.